back. So today I wanted to create another fall look, and I've been really inspired lately because it's gotten chillier out and so it kind of feels like fall. I really wanted to incorporate some olives and greens mixed with some browns and some golds, everything that kind of reminds me of fall, and I wanted to incorporate that into a look. So if you want to see how I achieve this look, then stay tuned and keep on watching.
So I started off with these Cover FX Radiance Custom Infusion drops and let them soak in for about a few minutes. And then I primed my face with this Makeup Forever Step 1 primer. And this blurs imperfections, and probably the second or third time I used it and loved it. And then I went and primed my eyes with the Urban Decay Primer Potion and popped that on both eyes. And then I like to dab it in with my finger. Moving on to foundation, I'm using Hourglass in the shade Shell, and I'm just very lightly dotting this all over my face. I'm trying to use less product than I typically do with this foundation to see if it works just as well. And then I'm going to be blending it out with a damp beauty blender. And I do want to say that even with less product than I have typically used with this foundation, it still provided medium to full coverage. Moving on to concealer, I'm going to be dabbing this just in the dark parts of my eyes. This is a concealer, but it's really a color corrector as well. And so I'm just color correcting the dark circles. They're not terrible, but they are there. And then I'm moving on to MAC's Prep and Prime in Light Boost. And I'm going to be highlighting as per usual in all the typical places, kind of like a triangle, upside down triangle under my eyes. I'm going to be also placing it small strip down the bridge of my nose, as you can see right there. I know it looks a little crazy right now, but it'll look great once it's blended out. And then I like to put it where my left, like my smile lines are as well, because as I'm aging, they are becoming more pronounced, so that kind of hides them. And then I'm just, once again, blending it out with a damp beauty blender. Taking any concealer that is left on the beauty blender, and I'm just popping that on the lids. Then I'm moving on to something I've fallen in love with once again. This is the MAC Mineralized Skin Finish in the shade Medium, and I'm just setting all of my foundation and concealer with that. Moving on to brows, I'm going to be filling them in today with Cork from MAC, and I'm going to be using an angled brush from MAC as well. This is something I used to do way back in the day, and I just kind of felt like more of a natural brow today. So I feel like with powder, that's kind of what you get, is a little bit more of an undone, not so, you know, precise brow, and that's kind of what I was going for. Setting my brows with Gimme Brow by Benefit, I'm going to be basically adding a little bit more texture to the hairs, and again, that gives it a more natural look, and it also keeps the hairs from moving and your brows kind of set in the same place pretty much the whole day, which is really nice. Moving on to contouring, this is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Original Contour Kit. So I am using that middle shade that you just saw at that bottom row, and I'm going to be contouring not, you know, super precise, but under my cheekbones for slight definition. And I like to make my forehead look a little bit smaller, so I do put it on the tops of my forehead by the hairline. And then I'm moving on to Butter Bronzer. This has become my favorite bronzer right now, and it's just so good. It's so good. Anyway, I'm bronzing, pretty much going over all the areas that I just contoured. And then I also like to take that down my neck a little bit to kind of just make everything look very even. Then I'm moving on to blush, and that was Melba on the left from MAC. I wanted some glow, but nothing too dramatic today, so I took the Hourglass Ambient Incondescent Strobe Light with a big fluffy brush and just put it on mainly my cheeks, a little bit on my nose, Cupid's bow, and I did pop it on top of my eyebrows. Okay, so moving on to eyes, I am taking the color Custard in the Lorac Pro 2 palette, and I'm just placing that all over my lids. And then I'm taking Tawny, and I'm just dusting that all over my lid and moving it upwards, as you can see, as a transition shade. And then I'm taking Burlap, and I'm doing the same exact thing that I just did with Tawny, just to intensify it a little bit more. Then I'm taking MAC's Sumptuous Olive, I believe. I'll have it listed. And I am popping that on the outer V of my eye and just blending it inward, but I'm not taking it all the way inward, and I'm doing lots of blending. Taking the same brush and same color, I'm just dragging that onto my lower lash line, and I'm again not bringing it all the way inward, just halfway. Moving on to this gorgeous shade called Forest. It is a very, very dark green, and it's matte, and I am just popping that over everything I just did there and doing the same thing. I'm putting it on the outer V, and I'm bringing it up above my crease slightly and upwards, and blending it and blending it until it does not look like it does right now, which is pretty harsh. So what I do is I typically make sure that both sides are even, and then I went back with that same brush I used with Tawny and Burlap, and I'm just blending everything together. Then I'm taking this brush, which is like a detailed brush from Sigma, Precision Eye Set, I think is what it's called, and I'm taking that same forest color and going over what I did before and just intensifying it, and then taking the brush with that Sumptuous Olive and smoking out the lower lash line. Picking up some matte black from the same palette on the same brush, I am just intensifying that outer V, as you can tell. So doing the same thing I usually do is I kind of stamp it on where I want it to be, and then I blend it out. You want to keep blending. That is the key of any smoky eye. You just want to keep blending and blending, and that really just is a key to it. So that's a tip there. And then I'm taking an angled brush. I'm taking that same matte black color, and I am just bringing it slightly inward. Then, as you can see, I'm popping this gorgeous green color Kohl pencil from MAC into my waterline, and I'm going to be tight lining with a black liner. I think that's the Physicians Formula. I'm not sure, but you can use any Kohl liner. It's fine. And then I'm going to take this color Gold Leaf, and I'm going to dampen this brush with some MAC Fix Plus. I really wanted it to kind of stick and look almost metallic, and this is such a beautiful color. I think this is the first time I'm using it. So I'm putting it mainly on my lid, but not on my whole lid. As you can see, I kind of stopped where the green shadows are, and then I'm bringing it downward again halfway. Same thing on top and the same thing on the bottom. Then going back to Sumptuous Olive, and all I'm doing here is just kind of blending everything together so that the gold doesn't kind of look harsh, it just blends in. And then I'm moving on to Moonlight, and I'm going to use that as an inner corner highlight. And I'm also going to take a little bit of that just for some more highlight right on the center of my eyelid, and pop a dab of that right there. And you can see what a difference that tiny little bit makes. I find that using your finger or your pinky or whatever as opposed to a brush to do this really just intensifies it. Going in with some L'Oreal Lacquer liner in Blackest Black, I'm going to make the thinnest line on my upper lash line. I'm not going to wing it out. I'm placing it there mainly because I do want my lashes to look a little thicker, but I don't want to use up too much of my lid space because I do not have that much. And then I'm just going to take that down slightly, as you can see there, very much at the tip. The green eyeliner was not staying on in my waterline, so I did pop, I think I took the YSL, it was a black liner, and just popped it over it. So it kind of peeked through, but I did intensify it. Then I went back to Moonlight and just highlighted my brow, and then I took that same brush, no, that's a different brush actually. I took a brush with Tawny and Burlap and just smoked out the lower lash line, curling my lashes, and I'm going to put some mascara on to prep for fall season. put some individual lashes on off camera, and I mainly place them on the outer part of my eye to kind of give it a cat eye effect, and then just coated my lower lashes with some mascara. Lining my lips with Jordana's Lilac Lip Liner, I believe that's what it's called, and then I'm going to be filling them in with the same lip liner. It makes everything kind of last longer. Moving on to Lorac's Alter Ego Lip Gloss in the shade Goddess. This is a beautiful color. It looks a little bit different on the lips, and it's kind of like a muted purpley mauvey color, and it's perfect for fall. These glosses are great. They feel so hydrating and good on the lips, and they last a really long time considering it's a gloss.
So this is the final look, and I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, I hope that you guys learned something and found it fun, if anything else. And if you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up so I know that you like these kind of videos. Don't forget to subscribe for future videos, and I will see you in my next one. Bye guys.